Many people are saying that this initiative, this particular project has put Uttar Pradesh, a state like Uttar Pradesh, on the world map, and it's put Noida on top of the world manufacturing map. Because usually what happens is that companies like Samsung, they end up choosing China or US to set up their plants. But it's a big boost to the manufacturing sector in India, because a state like Uttar Pradesh has been brought on the world map, because this particular facility will be the world's largest as far as Samsung is concerned. All right, for more on this, I'm joined by WION's business correspondent Sumit Chaturvedi. Sumit, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. On our screens, we have live visuals of Prime Minister Modi and Moon Jae-in enjoying a ride at the Delhi Metro. But the highlight of the day is that they will be inaugurating that Samsung facility, world's biggest Samsung plant in the world. Please give us more details.
Well, absolutely. I'm right now here at the Samsung plant in just outside Delhi, and clearly we are all ready to to receive the PM Modi with South Korean president here. This is definitely a big push to Make in India initiative of the government. Well, this is going to be the largest facility in the whole world. Look at the time when the global wars, the trade wars are going, and the companies are not going to other countries to invest. And at this moment, South Korea has come to India in a big way. The world's largest facility of mobile phones, which is India, is also the country with the largest smartphone users. Now, this has come in India only, and this facility will have a manufacturing capacity of around 120 million mobile phones every year. So it's a big boost to the Make in India initiative of the government. This new 35-acre Samsung facility in Sector 81 in Noida, where I'm presently, here to attend the overall event. This is the biggest factory of the Korean giant, and in fact, this was set up in the overall the electronics manufacturing facilities were in the 1990s, and today is the time when, after many years, we are seeing the world's largest plants. This plant makes mobile phones, and it's already making TVs and refrigerators. So these all things will be manufactured here going forward.
All right. Right, so these are the live visuals that we are getting from the national capital of India. My colleague Ramesh Ramchandran joins us on the broadcast on this big story breaking on WION. Ramesh, interesting visuals there. Prime Minister Modi and South Korean President Moon Jae-in enjoying a ride in the Delhi Metro.
Indeed, thank you, Archana. It's interesting because they were scheduled to either take the chopper to arrive at the Noida plant or to travel by road, both deciding in their best wisdom to travel by the Delhi Metro to the Noida manufacturing plant, the world's biggest so far in Noida, which they'll inaugurate just moments away from now. And my colleague Sumit Chaturvedi continues to be with us on the phone line from the venue of the inauguration of that much anticipated event that's part of Moon Jae-in's visit to India, his first as the president of South Korea. Sumit, walk us through what to expect from the joint inauguration of the world's biggest mobile manufacturing facility anywhere in the world.
Well, the first thing which comes to anybody's mind is it's definitely a big push to Make in India. Remember, the telecom revolution started in India in early 2000, and since then we have added close to 50 crore mobile phone subscribers in the country, largest ever in the world. But we have lagged so far when it comes to manufacturing of mobile phones. In fact, had we tapped this since the day one of mobile phone revolution, we would have become a big manufacturing powerhouse. But it's never too late, and that's why we are seeing now Samsung, the Korean giant, inaugurating its largest facility here in the whole world. And that's why now country is going to reap the benefits of the mobile phone revolution. Remember, we had big telecom giants like Airtel, which is definitely India-grown, Reliance Jio. They are all banking on the success of telecom revolution. But we lagged somewhere, and that was the hardware. And now hardware is, the potential is being tapped now. This particular facility will manufacture 120 million mobile phones, apart from a few of refrigerator and television. But mobile phone is something definitely which is, on the top of everybody's mind. It is also going along well with the government's plan of a huge digital push. As far as the government's digital push is concerned, it's definitely going to come via smartphones. India has the largest smartphone population in the whole world, and it's going to repeat both in software and hardware. Right, Samsung is already present in India in a big way. But remember, at the time when there's an onslaught of Chinese giants, telecom giants like Oppo and other, Lenovo and all, having a parallel company making handsets, and especially in India, it's a big boost for Make in India, I would say.
Right. So as Sumit was pointing out, the inauguration of the world's largest mobile manufacturing facility anywhere in the world, which both Moon Jae-in and Narendra Modi will inaugurate shortly in Noida on the outskirts of India's capital, New Delhi, will be a big boost to Prime Minister Modi's Make in India initiative, his flagship enterprise program of the last 4 years, where he invites foreign companies to set up shop in India and make India their base, so to speak, to sell their products outside India as well. So clearly this has come as a big fillip to the Make in India initiative of Prime Minister Modi, and we can see these visuals coming to you live from the Delhi metro train, which both leaders are taking to reach the venue of the manufacturing facility in Noida. We can see Prime Minister Modi seated with President Moon Jae-in, who is on his first state visit to India since coming to power in the middle of last year. And as Sumit was pointing out, that India's Make in India initiative and President Moon Jae-in's new southern policy can seem to complement each other going forward, where South Korea will look to diversify its trade portfolio to other countries such as India, besides Russia, China, the US and Japan. All right, Sumit continues to be with us. Sumit, as we're watching these live visuals of Prime Minister Modi, engaging in an animated conversation with Moon Jae-in and his aides inside the Delhi metro train that's taking them to Noida, I want you to take a step back and talk about India-South Korea trade ties. Now, we know that brands such as LG, Hyundai, Samsung, Kia Motors are all popular in India. But what does it mean in terms of employment, in terms of jobs for people here in India?
Ramesh, officially nothing has been announced so far. We are waiting for the official figures, which will be announced when PM comes and inaugurates officially. But it's being estimated there would be a creation of 30,000 jobs, direct as well as indirect, in this part of Uttar Pradesh, which is one of the largest. This is the largest state, in fact, in India, and it would be actually giving employment to 30,000 people. It's already we can say that an industry plant where there are other plants are located, but this particular plant is going to give actually employment to these many people. Last year, Samsung announced investment of close to $1 billion within a year. It has fructified, and we are seeing a big plant here. We are definitely in front of open fields with grazing cattle, and they're under construction residential society. It shows the kind of mixed development which this area will get. Definitely this area has a lot of working population also. It's not very far from, I would say, Delhi, and it's close to 50 kilometers away from Delhi. There's a new 35-acre fencing facility here, but definitely going to bring a lot of prosperity to the region, it looks like, because ultimately India needs jobs, and answers have to come from somewhere. So these private manufacturers are giving these jobs. At least this part of the country will get thousands of more jobs coming when they go for further capacity expansion. I would again put it in the way that we have missed the hardware overall revolution of telecom once, but this time we have to tap the overall potential of the hardware revolution. That's by manufacturing handsets, and those handsets will be manufactured right here. Very few companies right now in India are manufacturing handsets. Apple makes certain kinds of handsets, including 6S, 6SE, but not majorly. And that's why we need more and more facilities like here in India, which manufactures these jobs and low-skilled jobs. So the manufacturing plants will give you high-skilled and low-skilled jobs both at the same time. The high-skilled jobs will be engaged in software development facilities in Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, but low-skilled jobs, the jobs which are done with the hands, they will be definitely, somebody can get them only through manufacturing jobs. India is in a way, we can say that a servicing giant, but manufacturers, we have really missed the bus earlier. This is the time we should capture the opportunity with our both hands.
Indeed, and as we are watching these live visuals once again of the delegation of President Moon Jae-in, who are making their way to Noida on the outskirts of Delhi for the joint inauguration by Prime Minister Modi and President Moon of the world's largest mobile manufacturing plant, set up by the top South Korean manufacturer of mobile phones. I want you, Sumit, to spend some time talking about the Samsung heir, the Samsung vice chairman. We're given to understand that this would be their first meeting between the Samsung vice chairman and President Moon, and that might be a significant event in itself.
Well, absolutely, Ramesh, that is also true because the Samsung family isn't going through a very good phase out there in Korea as well. Mr. Lee definitely found himself in thick of controversy when he was arrested, and there were all kind of allegations which were leveled on him. Now it's a time when he will be seen on a public forum or public stage. He'll be sharing with Mr. Moon, which is the president of South Korea. And this is the time when he is actually going to maybe have a talk with him, maybe he'll catch him somewhere. But this is the first time he's also on the public forum sharing a dais with the Prime Minister Modi and the South Korean president as well. Well, Samsung is, it won't be wrong to call it one of the largest players in the whole world as far as telecom is concerned. But in Korea, South Korea also, it's the biggest corporate where Samsung it competes with LG. But in India, definitely it has made its mark since many days. In South Korea also, it's one of those very crucial corporates, the development of which or the progress of which is important for South Korea's economy also. LG is there, Samsung is there, Hyundai is another big South Korean company. They all are present in India. But Samsung over the last few years has taken the lead over other of its counterparts as far as mobile phone is concerned. It is currently having a 49% market share in India also. So India is a market which we can say that overlooked by Samsung. It has to be present here, and by manufacturing more and more, it's going to definitely bring down the cost of mobile phones, which means increasing margin. Second, it will be a pioneer when it comes to delivering the latest state-of-the-art technology mobile phones to the consumer. So that way, for Samsung also, the survival in India, Indian market, and thriving in Indian market is very important. Let's put it this way: the competition between Apple and Samsung. Definitely, Apple has taken the world by storm over the last 10 years. The growth has been phenomenal. But Samsung has also not, we can say that, left any stone unturned to dominate its position or to remain in a dominant position in the market. And that's why succeeding in India is also very important. Looking at that, from that point of view, the vice chairman of Samsung will definitely be in a market where they want to grow in future, they want to dominate the market, and where they will give a very good fight to Apple also, because Apple and Samsung are global rivals, and in all markets they go, they fight neck to neck with each other. Here, Samsung will take, we can say that will have an upper hand over Apple because they are manufacturing here. Import duties will be less. There will be more competitive manufacturing. The markets will be easily accessed and margins will be more.
Absolutely. So let's stay on, if you will, while we are watching these live visuals of the two leaders making their way to Noida on the outskirts of New Delhi. I want to take a moment or two to talk our viewers about Moon Jae-in's ongoing visit to India. Now, South Korean President Moon Jae-in is on a 4-day visit to India, his first ever visit to India as the President of South Korea. And President Moon is accompanied by his wife Kim Jong-suk. He's on a 4-day visit to India. Today is his second day in India. The operative part of his visit will happen tomorrow with the ceremonial reception in the forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan, the presidential palace in New Delhi, followed by delegation-level talks between the two leaders, President Moon and Prime Minister Modi. Now, this morning, he met India's Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj, where they had a discussion of further elevating their special strategic partnership. In the coming days, the two countries are expected to discuss developments in a denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. Now, President Moon Jae-in's visit is expected to forge new partnerships with India and steps they propose to take to strengthen this special strategic partnership. The South Korean president is accompanied by senior members of his cabinet, officials and industry captains who will attend the India-Korea Business Forum as well. Now, various agreements will be signed during the visit after his official talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday, that's tomorrow. He'll be accorded a ceremonial reception, which will be followed by the official delegation-level talks. The two leaders will also address the India-Republic of Korea CEOs Roundtable the same day, that's tomorrow. And President Moon will meet President Ramnath Kovind in the evening tomorrow, and he will depart from New Delhi on Wednesday morning. So that will bring curtains down on his 4-day state visit to India, his first to India as the President of South Korea. All right, we continue to see these visuals of Prime Minister Modi and President Moon Jae-in making their way to the venue of the inauguration jointly by the two leaders of the world's largest mobile manufacturing facility anywhere in the world in Noida on the outskirts of New Delhi. You can see the two leaders making their way out of the metro station in Noida. before they make their way to the venue of the mobile manufacturing facility set up by the top mobile manufacturer of South Korea. And my colleague Sumit continues to be with us on the phone line, who joins us from the venue of that event. Sumit, how important, if you can just put it in the context for our viewers, how important is this facility in terms of Prime Minister Modi's Make in India, in terms of job creation, in terms of technology transfer? How important do you think this facility is going to be?
Well, Ramesh, this is absolutely, we can say that over the last few years, since when PM Modi started going to different parts of the world, inviting manufacturers, trying to give them, unload them in every possible way so that something should happen on Make in India front. But over the last few years, we have seen little development on that front. Today is a day when, yes, we will be seeing a lot of work happening in that direction, because Make in India is the flagship program of Indian government. Over the last 4 or 5 years, we have seen definitely many of the interests coming in manufacturing in India, but very few of these interests would actually so far would get converted or translated into action on ground. So action on ground today we are seeing here in this part of the country, where 45-acre plant is going to be inaugurated by PM Modi himself, giving a big boost to his Make in India initiative. Official figures are not out yet, but it looks like this plant is going to employ 35,000 people, which is a sizable number of population or workers, and they are going to be definitely engaged in we can say that middle skills of jobs, which is important also, because in service sector we are doing pretty fine. Our IT exports are good. Our IT skilled people are already on the radar of the world. But we want to show people that manufacturing is also important for us, and there also we are making strides. But compared to China, manufacturing is negligible in India. If we really want to grow, if we really want the GDP has to grow, the money has to go in the hands of people. Definitely, we have to make good strides in manufacturing also, because remember, 80% of our population is engaged in farming. But there, it's a seasonal thing. For many months of a family, we can say that unemployed, because farming gives jobs to only 1 to 2 people or family. Rest have to be engaged somewhere, and this is the place. Manufacturing is the place where they should be employed. India is a big manufacturing hub of automobiles, but we have missed the bus, I would say, when it comes to hardware manufacturing in telecom. In telecom, we definitely make good strides towards connectivity side, software side, but when it comes to hardware, definitely not big handset makers are here in India. In fact, none of them is here in India. All of the handsets are either imported from US or China, and very less number of handsets are manufactured here. But today is the day when this will change the overall scenario when manufacturing is concerned. The 12 crore mobile phones which will be manufactured here will be supplied to many parts of the world. And definitely one important thing, Ramesh, is in the scenario of global trade wars, this kind of partnership is definitely been in India's favor.
Absolutely. Sumit, do stay on while we watch these visuals of the two delegations making their way to Noida for the joint inauguration of the world's largest mobile manufacturing facility on the outskirts of India's capital of New Delhi. I want to talk to our viewers about the importance, the significance, and talk about numbers of this project in question. Now, the facility, as I've said, is the world's largest mobile factory. The new 35-acre facility will see Prime Minister Modi and South Korean President Moon Jae-in inaugurating it together later this evening. In June last year, the South Korean giant had announced a 4,915 crore investment to expand the Noida plant. And after a year, the new facility is ready to double the production. As Sumit was mentioning, the company is currently making 67 million smartphones in India. And with the new plant becoming operational, it's expected to manufacture nearly 120 million mobile phones. Right, so as we watch these visuals once again of Prime Minister Modi in an animated discussion with President Moon Jae-in of South Korea as they're making their way to Noida on the outskirts of New Delhi for the joint inauguration of the world's largest mobile manufacturing facility. I want to go to my colleague Sumit one more time. Sumit, now we've seen FDI coming into India from to various Indian cities, north and southern India as well. What does it speak to you about the fact that this facility is coming up in Noida, in the national capital region, which is home to many other such projects as well.
Well, definitely, this is home to several projects, and the place where I'm sitting, a few kilometers away, is a few of the manufacturing plants of automobiles. The Yamaha plant is here, Honda Cars plant is here. They are the two big plants which are in the vicinity of this particular factory here where I am sitting. This is something which is really of, we can say that, very, very important for us at a time when we really need these manufacturing jobs to come. And yes, it's a hub of manufacturing, but not as big as it was earlier projected to be, because a few miles from now where I'm sitting, there is a defunct Daewoo plant also. Remember, Daewoo was another, we can say that, company which was at one point of time definitely going to be very big, but then it was shut down. So these are the things which reminds us that if even manufacturing decisions are not taken properly, can be a big, big liability for India. But here, we are at least inaugurating seeing a plant which is going to be very big in the future, because future is mobile. It's the handset, the smartphones. Everyone has to use. Without smartphones, there appears to be no life. And we all, in fact, the new generation is glued to mobile phones all the time. Looking at that, this kind of market, the tapping of this market is very, very important. And that's what we can say that overall is going to happen with this plant. Otherwise, there was very little hope of India going somewhere as far as manufacturing is concerned. These plants, when they come with overall ecosystem, because it's not only one plant that comes. There are the parts developers that come. They overall, we can say that, put their plants here as well. So there's an ecosystem or cluster that gets developed. It's not one plant which comes. It's a cluster that comes. And when one plant comes, there's a perception that India is favoring manufacturing. There are benefits when it comes to going to manufacturing in India. The other plants also come, and that's how the overall scenario of optimism is created when it comes to manufacturing. And one plant comes, which is followed by other plants, and that's what India needs at this moment. One plant should start, other plants should follow, and it should be at least half or 1/4 of China, the manufacturing giant of the world, as far as manufacturing is concerned. And it needs a beginning somewhere, and today it appears like the beginning has been made finally somewhere. It's definitely going to be a big boost for PM's Make in India plan, because this is world's largest facility going to churn out mobile phones, thousands of mobile phones every hour, and that's going to be, in fact, consumed in a market in India only, and few of them will be exported as well. Will be getting a good response. Definitely, it will give further boost to manufacturing in India.
Absolutely, as Sumit was pointing out, India wanting to emerge as a manufacturing hub for global corporates. Now, just to give our viewers a sense of where South Korea is coming from, South Korea-China trade is about $250 billion, whereas South Korea-India trade is almost 1/10 that figure. So that should speak to the enormous potential that exists to collaborate between Indian and South Korean companies, especially in terms of Make in India flagship enterprise program. And also the fact that President Moon Jae-in is pursuing what is known as the New Southern Policy, whereby he seeks to diversify his trade portfolio by making inroads into other countries such as India, in addition to his 4 existing partners, namely Russia, China, the US and Japan. So clearly a lot of complementary areas between New Southern Policy of President Moon Jae-in and Prime Minister Modi's Make in India and Act East policies. So clearly a lot at play here for both India and South Korea as well. All right, so while we are waiting for the inauguration, the joint inauguration of the world's largest mobile manufacturing facility in Noida on the outskirts of India's capital, New Delhi, we're seeing these visuals of Prime Minister Modi and President Moon Jae-in of South Korea making their way out of the metro station and making their way to the venue of the inauguration in Noida just a few moments from now, where the two leaders will jointly inaugurate what is known as the world's largest mobile manufacturing facility anywhere in the world. Right, so we'll continue to carry forward this discussion with my colleague Sumit Chaturvedi, who is standing by at the venue of the inauguration of the mobile manufacturing facility. As I was mentioning, this is being touted as the world's largest facility anywhere in the world, being set up by one of the largest South Korean mobile manufacturers. It's a 35-acre plant, and it was decided to expand the plant in Noida last year, where the manufacturer decided to put in more funds into the expansion of the project. And at the moment, the plant produces 67 million smartphones in India from that one plant on the outskirts of Delhi. And upon becoming operational, the new plant will manufacture up to 127 million smartphones. Also, in terms of giving a big push to the Prime Minister Modi's Make in India initiative, Sumit was mentioning that at least 35,000 new jobs could be created on account of this one mobile factory in Noida on the outskirts of New Delhi. All right, so while we are watching these visuals from some moments ago of the two leaders waving to the crowds waiting for the joint inauguration of the mobile manufacturing facility, I want to take a moment or two to talk to our viewers about Moon Jae-in's ongoing visit to India. This, as I mentioned, is on a 4-day state visit to India, his first since becoming president of South Korea in the middle of last year. Now, since then, both President Moon and Prime Minister Modi have met once in July last year on the margins of the G20 summit at Hamburg in Germany. So they are no strangers to each other. They've met once before, and this would be their second meeting in less than 1 year. Now, interestingly, Prime Minister Modi was one of the first few world leaders to congratulate President Moon Jae-in upon his victory in the elections last year. Incidentally, Prime Minister Modi had tweeted a message to President Moon in the Korean language, which was widely appreciated by the Korean people and the government alike. And since then, we've seen many visits take place between Seoul and New Delhi, including by the ministers of defense from India and the other ministers from South Korea as well. So this is an important state visit, the third visit by a South Korean president to India in the last almost 12 years. And the fourth visit by the Indian Prime Minister to South Korea was by Prime Minister Modi in the year 2015. So both sides looking to build on their special strategic partnership, which was signed in 2015, as I mentioned, during Prime Minister Modi's visit to South Korea then. This was barely 1 year after Prime Minister Modi came to power in India, and both sides wanting to harness the latent potential in their trade investment ties and to complement each other's policies. Prime Minister Modi's Make in India and Act East policies, and President Moon Jae-in's new Southern policy, where he seeks to diversify his investments and trade partnerships to other countries such as India, in addition to his existing 4 partners, Japan, Russia, China, and the US. So as we watch these visuals of the two leaders making their way on the Delhi Metro train to Noida on the outskirts of New Delhi for the inauguration of the mobile manufacturing facility, if I may talk a bit about his ongoing visit to India. It's a 4-day state visit. He landed in New Delhi yesterday evening, and then he went to the Akshardham temple in New Delhi for a brief visit. And this morning, he met India's Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj, where they had a discussion of further elevating their special strategic partnership. Now, in the coming days, the two countries are expected to discuss the developments aimed at denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. Now, President Moon's visit is expected to forge new partnerships with India and steps they propose to take to strengthen the special strategic partnership.